Hello, I'm here today to talk about 168 hours. So, a few years ago, there was a book that came out called 168 Hours, which was really about time management and our lives and how much we say that we don't have time for that, or we work too much, or we don't sleep enough. And so, one of the big takeaways that I had from the book, or the sort of talking about this, the conversation about it, is that a lot of times we are not actually clear and specific around how we spend our days and our time. And because I'm obsessed with alignment and intention and conscious living and being awake, and actually communicating clearly the truth and not making up stories about our life, I found, the idea of talking about 168 hours and the fact that we all have that as very helpful. So, one of the things that we did in Thrive this session was take 168 hours. So we talk a lot in planning and intentionality around what are the blocks and the chunks of time that we want to spend our lives on and that are big rocks, the most important things. So what I did was map out, I put 168 hours at the top of the page. And then I thought, okay, what are my current big blocks and what is most important to me right now? So I did 3 blocks: sleep, work, and family. Okay, so those are my 3 big areas that I wanted to dive into and see what those hours were so I could see what was left of the week to play with. Okay, so for my sleeping hours, I wrote down the general time that I go to bed every night, which is around 9 p.m., and I wake up around 5 a.m. Now, I want you to understand that this is not an exact science, it's an art. So in general, maybe it's 9:20, maybe it's 9:40, but it's somewhere in that 9 to 10 range is when I go to bed, and then I wake up somewhere between the 5 to 6 range, okay? And that's 80% of the time, most of the time. So I also gave myself some bonus hours on sleep, 4 bonus hours. So that comes to 60 hours, okay? So that leaves me with 108 hours left of the week. So generally, again, generally, not specifically, but generally, 80% of the time, I work 9 to 3, 5 days a week. Okay, so that's 30 hours. And then I gave myself 5 bonus hours so that if I wanted to work late one day or work on the weekend for a little, that would bring me to about 35 hours. Okay, so now I am at 73 hours. Then I added in my intentional family time. So I prefer not to work after school and be on email and checking and blah, 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 all of that kind of writing and that kind of work stuff. I definitely don't take clients, but sort of thinking about, like, I'm very mindful of how many hours are left. Years are left while Sailor's home, and I'm mindful of that after school time. My kids are not involved in a lot of sports or activities, so we are often home doing homework and cooking and hanging out and playing games, depending on the season. Sometimes we're painting, sometimes we're sitting by the fire, playing instruments, whatever. We're not very good at the instruments, but we like to play. So that I gave myself is, in general, again, 80% of the time, it's 3 to 8 p.m. is my family time. Okay, so that is 25 regular hours, and then I gave myself 5 bonus hours. So say the kids are up late, we go out one night, and again, I'm just doing, that's the 5 days. I didn't add in the weekend time. I'm trying to think what else might give me that +5. It might be a longer day or maybe some extra weekend time. I don't know. I just like to give myself little bonus time so I'm not so tight with it, because then it feels more expansive. Then at that point, I am at 43 hours. So after I do my sleep, my work, and my family time, which is all blocked off and intentional, those are the most important things for my life. So if I get enough sleep regularly, my immune system is stronger, my energy is better, I'm more clear, I'm able to go with the flow of life. It's like, sleep it's just awesome. It feels really good. And I love it. So sleeping is a big rock. work, I love my work. I could work all the time, which is actually why it's really good for me to do this and block off some boundaries, because I'm obsessed with what I do. And so and just kind of like the types that I am in Enneagram, and I have a lot of Pitta fire in Ayurveda. So like I have to be really mindful to not work all the time. And that's also really helpful when I do 168 hours and I look at my time in the week, and I only do this like once or twice a year, right? Like just kind of checking in with it and how does that feel? Because it will change, you know? And your blocks might change, especially if you have something, I don't know, everyone has, you know, different things going on. Maybe their community work is taking up a big part, or caring for a family member, they want to create a block for that, or I don't know, again, it really depends on your life. But for me, like knowing that 3 to 8 is that family time, it means I can leave my phone at home. I mean, like if I'm going to the park, I can leave my phone at home. If we get home from school, we can listen to music and I can put it in the drawer. Like I don't feel like I'm on call 24/7, because that's not really the kind of life that I want to live, and I don't really want to create that kind of habit. Now, if my kids have a play date or they're outside and I'm like, oh, I really want to answer that email or respond to that call, then I have flexibility to do that, because I do see that I'm spending 30 hours a week with the kids and with that family time. My kids do go to bed around 8. Oftentimes they'll be in their room and read or draw in their beds, and my husband helps with all of that. So when I say I'm sort of like done at 8 and it's closed, like it might be 8:20 where I'm doing some yoga in my bedroom or legs up the wall or something, or listening to a podcast or taking a bath. But, you know, generally at 8 is when I start to wind down to get ready for that 9-10 bedtime, okay? And again, think about it this way. 80% of the time, I believe in the 80-20 rule for food, for money, for happiness, for routine, for ritual. Like 80% of the time, this is how I'm living. It's super boring. However, it's really energizing and I love it, and it gives me a lot of vitality and energy to like have that container and kind of no predictable schedule. And then when I get invited to something really fun, or I'm really excited about going somewhere or seeing a friend, like I just feel really happy about that, because I'm not doing that all the time. So your 168 hours, I want you to take a big piece of paper, write 168 on the top. That's how many hours you have per week to play with. Look at your big rocks, map it out. Questions, email me. I want to see yours. If you want to take a picture of it and email it to me, I want to see what you're coming up with. So I have 43 extra hours a week for me time, for projects, for service, for whatever I want, but I'm intentional around that I do have all the time I need to do all the things that I want to do at this season. And it just helps me be strategic and thoughtful about how I'm spending my hours and how I'm spending my time. We just did this as an exercise in Thrive, and someone said, wow, I didn't realize how much extra time I have. And someone said, I didn't realize how much time I was working. And again, it's just awareness, no judgment. Just pay attention, see what's happening. You might even do 160 of like what you're really doing, and then maybe like a dream or a model maybe that you're thinking about you want to try or experiment with. So I'd love to hear from you on your hours and what you're doing with them and how it feels. Okay? Bye.